Assalamualaikum student. In this session we will discuss about pronouns and kinds of pronouns. For pronouns, the definition of pronoun is these are the words used in place of nouns. These are the words that are used in place of nouns. When we write two sentences about a same person, place, animal or thing, we never use the name in the other sentence as well. We don't mention the names very often in a sentence if we write two or three sentences about the same person, place, animal or thing. For example, the examples of pronoun can be he, she, they, it, them, etc. For male, we use he. For female, we use she. For animals, we use it. But we also use pronouns in a singular or plural nouns. For singular, we use he and she, but for plurals, we use they. For example, he is Basit. They are soldiers. It is a cat. For the kinds of pronouns, we have personal pronouns and possessive pronouns. Personal pronouns shows the pronouns that can be used for ourselves, and possessive pronouns shows the relation of noun with the pronoun in a sentence. Okay students, now we will discuss the kinds of pronouns in detail. So first kind of pronoun was personal pronouns. The definition of personal pronoun is these pronouns replace a noun or nouns in the naming part or telling part of a sentence. There is two parts in every sentence. The first part is a naming part and the second part is the telling part. For example, he has a mustache. He has a mustache. It is defining a man which has a mustache. So this part is a naming part. In the naming part, we use pronouns like I, you, he, she, it, etc. Another sentence is the salesman sold the robot to the man and women. This part of the sentence which is telling us that the salesman sold the robot. In this part, the man and woman can be replaced by a personal pronoun, them. So the sentence would be, the salesman sold the robot to them. This them replaces the telling part. For the telling part, we use personal pronouns like me, you, her, them, us, him, etc. The second kind of pronoun is possessive pronouns. The definition of possessive pronoun is these pronouns that shows who or what owns something. It represents relationship or ownership of the pronoun or noun. For example, these books are my sister's. So these is showing the ownership of the books. This kitten is mine. In this sentence, mine is showing the ownership of kitten, which is a possessive pronoun. In next sentence, its fur are soft. Its is referring to the fur of the cat or kitten. So it is showing the possessive pronoun or ownership of the fur. This bale is his. So the word his is a possessive pronoun which is showing the ownership or relationship. Okay, now students, we are going to talk about the kinds of noun in a little bit detail. The first we have studied the relative pronouns. The relative pronouns, they appear in a complex sentence, and to a noun they are the main clauses. The examples of relative pronoun is who, whoever, whom, whomever, which, whichever, that, and whose. We are going to read about these uses. Who and whomever, they describe the subject. Whom, whomever, they describe the object, but they refer to a person only. Which, whichever, they can describe the subject and object both, and they also describe the person. That they also point out the subject and object in the sentence. Whose are the possessive pronouns. They shows the ownership or relationship. So now for the examples of who the prince was looking for the maiden who left the shoes in the ball. Whom and whomever, I don't know whom he invited. And for whichever, this is the same story which you told me yesterday. For that, Alina wants to compose a song that shows her possession with the grammar. And for whose shoes are these? Now we are going to talk about the reflexive pronouns. Reflexive pronouns are essential to the meaning of a sentence. They act as the object. They show the receiver of an action, follows a verb or preposition. For example, I completed the project myself. And for the subject, which is plural, we use ourself. We have for the sentence, we have finished the project ourselves. Now moving on to the emphasizing pronouns. The examples of emphasizing pronouns is also myself and ourselves. But emphasizing pronouns are placed before the verbs in a sentence. They can be removed by changing the meaning of the sentence. For example, I have given the sentence for the reflective pronoun, I completed the project myself. So in the case of emphasizing pronouns, the example should be, I myself completed the project. Myself can be removed from the sentence without changing its meaning. Now moving on to the indefinite pronouns. Indefinite pronouns, they refer to one or more specified persons, things or objects. They refer to people or things without saying exactly who they are in the sentence. For example, somebody, something. Somebody, when the word buddy is used, it is referring to a person, and when the suffix thing is used, it is referring to a thing. For example, somebody, something. Somebody is doing their work, or something is placed under the chair. Okay students, now we are going to see the details of the more kinds of pronouns. We have talked about the interrogative pronouns. I have told you that interrogative pronouns induce the questions in the sentences. They refers to nouns we don't know. For example, who, whom, whose, what. Now we are going to see what are their individual uses. First, the use of who. It is used when a pronoun is a subject. It refers to a person. For example, who did this? Now, the use of whom. It is used when a pronoun is an object. It refers to a person. For example, whom are you going to invite? Now, the use of whose. They shows possession or ownership. Refers to person. For example, whose chocolate is this? Now the use of what. They can be used as subject and object both. Refer to a thing. For example, what is this? Now moving on to the demonstrative pronouns. Demonstrative pronouns, they identify specific nouns or pronouns and are used as subject as well as objects. For example, this, that, these, those. For singular pronouns, we use this, that, and for plural, we use these and those. For the things which are near, we use this and these, and for the things which are far above, we use that and those. Now moving on to the next kind of pronoun, they are personal pronouns. Personal pronouns, they refer to a person, and their example is I, you, he, she. And the personal pronouns can be classified as a first person, second person, and third person. The first person is, the example for the first person is I, because I refer to the first person who is going to speak. Now the second person refers to you. It is the person that I am talking to. The third person is he or she, or the person we are going to talk about, the two people which are going to talk about the third person. It is the third person. And for first person example, I have mentioned I, and for the plural, we use we. And for second person, you is used for both singular and plural. And for third person, he and she for a male or female, it for things, them for plurals, they or them. Okay students, so in today's session we have talked about the kinds of pronouns and a little bit detail of all the kinds of pronouns. We have studied the reflexive pronouns, the relative pronouns, the interrogative pronouns, the personal pronouns, the demonstrative pronouns, emphasizing pronouns, possessive pronouns, indefinite pronouns. In the reflexive pronouns, we have talked about the words which are not specific for the sentences. The relative pronouns are the pronouns which are used in complex sentences. The interrogative pronouns induces the questions in the sentences. The personal pronouns refers to the persons or animals itself. They identify the specific nouns or pronouns and are used as a subject and object as well. The emphasizing pronouns, they are important for the meaning of the sentences. The possessive pronouns shows the ownership, and the indefinite pronouns, they show two or more nouns. For in the words which have suffixes like body, we use those for the persons, and with the suffixes things, we use it for the things. So that's it for today. Stay tuned for us. In our next video, we are going to talk about the adjectives.